Your number one goal in trading should be to find stocks before everyone else is talking about them. I'm talking about finding Palantir just 12 months ago when it was trading at $35 a share. I'm talking about finding AMD 5 years ago when it was trading at $50, $60 a share. I'm talking about finding Tesla in the early days of 2020 when it's trading at $70, $80 a share. In all three of those examples, the stocks have already made massive moves. There's a 30-day period here where Palantir jumps 45%. But nobody was talking about Palantir, at least not in the way they do now, when it was trading at $40 a share. People don't start talking about stocks. They don't start gaining the sort of popularity among retail traders until they're already trading up and in these kinds of spaces. So what if you had a scanner that put you on these movers early before everyone began talking about them? Well, let's look at some of the results that are currently being returned by said scanner, and you let me know if you've ever even heard of these names. The first one, CRML, up 217% in the last 30 days. UAMY, up 210% in the last 30 days. NVTS, up 204% in the last 30 days. And I'll just click through a handful more. These are all stocks that, for the most part, no one is talking about yet they are out there making these massive, massive moves. So in today's video, we are going to build this scanner together step by step, and make sure you stick around because even more importantly than the scanner itself is the custom column that I use to sort the results by. This will put the stocks that are currently the strongest at the top of your results list. But first, today's video is sponsored by my son. He was a ring bearer in a wedding this weekend. I thought this picture was super cute, so I wanted to take this opportunity to share it. Anyway, let's move on with building this scanner. This scanner starts off with two very basic stock filters. If you don't know how to add these, you simply come to Add Filter in the top right of your Scan tab within ThinkorSwim, and you click on Stock, and this gives you a drop down of basic stock-related scan queries that you can choose from. First off, I have the close, meaning the current price of the ticker, being a minimum of $1. I just have no interest in trading penny stocks. Next, I have the market cap minimum set to $500 million. So I personally like to only swing trade very large market cap companies. They just are way less likely to get massive overnight downturns. Like Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Meta, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, they're all almost never going to drop 40% overnight. I never say never, right? Maybe one day something like that will happen, some kind of black swan event. Anything is always possible, but you are way less likely to have something like that happen when you are in larger market cap companies. If you start trading very small market cap stuff, those huge overnight downturns in which you cannot get stopped out of, because of course you're holding the position overnight, will wreck your portfolio. Now, there is a flip side to that. The smaller market cap companies are also more volatile, and volatility is a double-edged sword. So I personally am afraid of the overnight downside, which is why I avoid them. But also with that comes the potential for overnight upside. Amazon, McDonald's, Waste Management, all those same kind of companies are also never going to go up 60, 70% overnight, whereas these smaller market cap companies may. So this filter, well, both of these filters really are subjective, but especially this market cap filter. It's really up to how fast are you trying to grow your account. Like if you're trying to grow your account by 400% this year, then you're going to need to be in more volatile names. So you're going to need to incur more risk. Unfortunately, in this game, there's no such thing as more reward without more risk. So you're going to need to trade more volatile things. So you're going to need to lower this market cap number. So it's going to be sort of up to you and the types of stocks that you like to trade personally, but this is how I have my two stock filters set up. So those are the simple stock filters. There are now two more study filters that I'm going to add, and both of these study filters involve custom ThinkScript coding. If you didn't know, ThinkorSwim has its own coding language. So within the platform, you can create your own custom studies, scanners, trade strategies, etc., etc. Actually, this percent change over the last 30 days label that you're seeing on this chart is a custom study that I just created using this custom coding language. Taking advantage of this custom coding really unlocks 90% of the potential power of this platform. Let me actually load in quickly one of my trading workspaces here so that you can actually see one of my strategies in use. This is all custom coded strategy. All these labels up here are custom coded studies. And of course, I use custom coded scanners in order to find the trade setups. All of this stuff is extremely useful. I use it every single day in my active trading, and I atone all of my ability to become an active trader to these custom codes. I let you know all of this at this point in the video for two reasons. First, we're about to hop in and add a couple of study filters. In these filters, I'm going to hop into the ThinkScript editor and I'm going to begin writing some code. I wanted to let you know about this code before I just started doing this, and you go, wait, what the hell is going on right now? And second, if this sort of custom ThinkorSwim coding sounds interesting to you, but maybe you don't know how to code yourself, that's perfectly okay. I've created a website called DayTradingStrategies.net where I have personally published over 150 custom ThinkorSwim codes that I use every single day. I even have a handful of free codes available on the website because I truly believe that once you see the power of these custom codes, you will genuinely have no other reason not to sign up to access all of them. I'll actually leverage this quickly just to showcase to you how easy it is. So every single one of the 150 plus codes on the website comes with one of these unique TOS share links. All you do is copy this link back within your ThinkorSwim platform, set up in the top right, open shared item, paste that link, preview, and import. Just like that, in about 3 mouse clicks and in 5 seconds, you can have any and all of the 150 plus codes imported from my website and saved locally within your ThinkorSwim. Once you import them, you simply turn them on just like you do any other study, any other strategy, load them in just like you do any of your other scanners. And just like that, you can have my custom codes running in your ThinkorSwim application. A link to my website will be in the description down below this video. Anyway, let me stop procrastinating the work we have to do and let's get to building the meat and potatoes of this scanner, being the two study filters. So of course, we're going to come back into add filter in the top right. This time, rather than of type stock, we will add a filter of type study. I'm going to come into the pencil icon, hop into the ThinkScript editor here, and we're going to get to work writing some custom code. So what we're looking for in stocks to be returned on this scanner is multi-day strength. I don't want to see a stock that has just had one big green day, because how many times do you see a stock have a big green day and then fade off all the gains? So what we're going to do, we're going to use a simple price action study called percent change. All this study is doing is it is measuring the difference from the current price from the price that the ticker closed at 14 bars ago. That's it. It's a very, very simple price action study. It's just how we are going to give value to our thesis, to our idea of multi-day strength. So let's get rid of this default code here and let's go ahead and pull in data from the percent change, percent CHG study. This is a study, so we need to reference it as a function, open and close parameters. I go here with a value of 5. This part's a little bit subjective. You can sort of decide to go about this however you would like to, depending on the types of stocks that you would like to trade. But for me personally, once again, trading $500 million market caps companies, I'm only looking for a percent change, a difference from 14 bars ago of 5%. Now, of course, this is just pulling the data from the current daily candle. I said we want to see multiple days of strength. So the way we're going to go about that is we are going to append 2 more of these percent change checks in this code and the percent change value from the previous bar, which we can pull that data in ThinkorSwim by opening bracket 1 closing bracket, is greater than 5. So now the current candle percent change is greater than 5, and yesterday's candle percent change is greater than 5. And the percent change value from 2 candles ago is also greater than 5. So this creates a study filter in our scanner that says that the percent change study, so the difference in closing price today from the closing price 14 days ago, is greater than 5%. And that must be true for 3 consecutive bars leading up to today in order for the stock to appear on the scanner. So go ahead and hit OK on this and let's run this scanner. We go from almost 5,200 results down to just 1,000. I've gone ahead and sorted these results by volume rather than by our custom column, which, remember, we're still going to build. And this is honestly the most important thing in today's video. And we're still going to build this later after we get the scanner itself set up. But anyway, the first stock on the scan now is BITF. Go ahead and load in BITF. And I've actually also turned on here the percent change study. You can see BITF has obviously been over 5 on the percent change study for a total of 30 bars now. I mean, this stock is ridiculously strong, but that does mean that obviously the last 3 bars, including the current one, have also been over 5. So of course the stock should be on the scanner. Now, this bit of code is actually completely optional. I personally just like seeing any strong stock, but if you would rather only see stocks that are just beginning to match these conditions, meaning that only the last 3 days have had a percent change greater than 5, rather than like we just looked at on BitF, which it first occurred like 27 bars ago or whatever, you can add 1 more appended percent change study function. And the percent change from 3 bars ago is less than 5. This means that in order for the stock to appear on the scanner, it must be occurring its first 3 bars in a row in which the percent change is greater than 5. As I mentioned, I personally don't run my scanner this way. I like to see any stock that is strong. I just wanted to give you that option. If you want to get in on the moves as early as possible and only see the stocks in which these conditions are true today, that is an option for you. But as you can see here from my custom study filter, I have removed that 4th appended percent change from 3 bars ago being less than 5. So that condition will not be true looking at the stocks on the list for the rest of this video. The market actually just opened, which is perfect because that leads into our conversation about the next problem that we need to solve with our final filter on this scanner. In order to point that out, I'm actually going to switch and sort ascending top down by our custom column, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. This reveals to us the problem. I want you to now look at the volume column. You have so many stocks on here that are, yes, very strong, but they trade super light volume. 27,000 shares traded, only 1,500 shares traded, 86, 42, 65. These stocks are way too light volume. Yes, they may have strong charts, whatever, but it doesn't matter if the liquidity is really poor. These are not names that you can actually trade. And what's the point of seeing a really nice chart if you can't actually trade it? If you go and try to trade these really light volume names, what ends up happening is you end up getting really awful fills. So you can't actually get in the trade at the same price as your strategy is getting in. Same goes with your exit. You can end up getting stuck in positions because there's just no one there willing to buy where you're trying to sell. It's really just best practice in every scanner that you build and in every trade strategy that you build moving forward in ThinkorSwim that you always add a condition to avoid light volume stocks. You really just never want to be trying to trade these names. So we're going to add a second study filter, the fourth and final filter, to this scanner that deals with getting rid of these light volume names. So we're going to come into the pencil icon of this study filter into the ThinkScript editor. Let me get it zoomed in here so that you all can see what we write a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and set up some pretty simple volume conditions here. First off, the volume from today, the current candle, must be greater than 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the current volume must be greater than 1 million shares traded. Now, this is a very simple filter. We could have just set up a simple stock filter in order to return this. But I want you to be able to run this scanner whenever, even if it's 18 minutes after market open like it is right now. I want you to be able to run this scanner and get the correct list of results. So you may not see a stock that has traded 1 million shares of volume already on the day, just 18 minutes into market open, even though it might be a heavy volume stock. So I'm going to append to this using this time the conditional formatting language of or rather than and, like we used earlier for the percent change filter. And of course means that both sides of that conditional order must be true in order for the stock to appear in the scanner, or means that either one of these conditions can be true in order for the stock to be allowed to appear in the scanner. Or the average, and this is a function accepting two parameters, first being of data. The data we want to take the average of course, is the volume. Separate your parameters with a comma. The average volume over the last 50 candles is greater than 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So either the volume from today is greater than 1 million, or the average volume over the last 50 candles is greater than 1 million. I like to set up my volume filter like this because obviously this allows you to capture heavy volume stocks over time, but it also allows you to get a peek into any stock that maybe sort of is just starting to explode today. You also want to be able to catch those too. Like maybe the average volume is low, but it got news or something, so it's exploding today. You still probably want to see that on the list. So go ahead and load in the scanner like that. Go ahead and run it. And we should now see a new list of results. Remember, not all of them will have 1 million shares traded. I'm actually going to let my custom column load in here for a second, but not all of them will have 1 million shares traded, but they either do or their average over the last 50 is greater than 1 million. It's loading in a little bit now. The first stock on the list, CRML. I actually want to find one that doesn't have 1 million shares traded. Here, this one only has 567. It is called everything's moving. It is called METC. We go load in METC. We can indeed see that it's only traded 567,000 shares today. But of course, the average volume over the last 50 days is much higher than 1 million shares of volume. So this very strong stock is still allowed to appear on our list. It still matches our heavily traded volume metrics. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's talk about the most important part of this scanner. And actually, you'll be able to utilize this custom scan column in any scanner that you use moving forward from now. So let's talk first about what is happening with this custom column. So I sort it ascending top down, meaning the highest value data will appear at the top of the list. What this data is measuring is the percent change difference in the current price of the ticker on the daily time frame away from its 200 length simple moving average. So basically, the stocks that are the strongest currently will appear at the top of the list. And luckily, the data within ThinkorSwim columns is live updating. So if something like jumps really hard or falls really fast, it will either come up to the top of or down to the bottom of this list in real time. So right now I can see the top stock on the list is CIFR. Apparently it is 204% above its 200 length simple moving average. Let's go look at CIFR. And let's actually quickly turn on the 200 length simple moving average. If I can do that while talking, that would be great, Mr. YouTuber. Go ahead and turn that on. We can see the 200 length simple moving average. The average closing price of this ticker over the last 200 days is at $6.07, whereas the current price of the ticker is above $18.60, thus being a 204% change difference. This is a very, very strong stock, thus why it appears at the top of the list. To add a custom column to your ThinkorSwim scan results, you are going to click into this tiny cog icon to the far right of your column headers and go into customize from this drop down. From your lookup a column here, you simply need to type in custom. You'll see something like a list of custom 1 through 19. Really, you can click into any of those custom columns, double click on them in order to add them to your current set, then click into the scroll icon of said custom column and then into the ThinkScript editor. And from here, we can then again get into writing some custom code. Luckily for us, the percent difference equation is a relatively simple one. It is your new value minus your original value, all divided by the original value. Then, of course, multiplied by 100 to make it a percent. So our new value, the value we want to compare against, is the current price of the ticker, which luckily for us in ThinkorSwim can very easily be represented by the keyword close. So we can actually leave this default line of code that is here when you create a custom column of close. And from that, we are going to subtract the 200 length simple moving average. So we're going to type in simple moving AVG, as that is the name of that study function within ThinkorSwim. Open parentheses, we will change the length parameter inside of our simple moving average parentheses to 200 and then close the parentheses. Let's go ahead and wrap this entire equation in parentheses so that it is grouped together as the numerator and is all divided by, once again, our original value of the 200 length simple moving average. Let's go ahead and wrap this entire equation in parentheses so that the entire thing gets multiplied by 100 in order to make it a percent. And that's it. It's that easy to build out this custom column. Now, by default, custom columns run against the daily time frame. And that's sort of the time frame we've been pseudo-referencing throughout this video. But you can very easily change that time frame. Say instead you want to see, or you're using a more intraday day trading scanner, so you want to see stocks that are strong intraday rather than just on their daily chart. So you want to see the percent difference from the, say, 5-minute 200 length SMA away from the current price. All I did there was click on this box here next to the name of your column. This provides you with a drop down of every single time frame available within ThinkorSwim. If I change this to the 5 minutes, you can even decide whether you would like to include or not include extended hours trading in the calculation. I will go ahead and include it. And then I hit apply. Everything here is going to reload. So we're going to have to give it a second. But what we're going to see now is stocks that are the strongest today, intraday strength, rather than sort of that multi-day strength that we were looking at when running against the daily time frame. So I can see now as they're loading in, the top stock looks to be about 11% above its 5-minute 200 length simple moving average. That ticker is EOSE. If I load in EOSE and then we hop down into the 5-minute time frame, as ThinkorSwim is going to freak out here for a second, we can indeed see this stock is currently very strong, currently getting a pretty massive rip on its intraday chart. The 200 length simple moving average is 1560. The current price of this ticker is over 1720. That is indeed a 10+% gap. You can now utilize this scanner to see stocks that are strong right now. Also, if you would like to, you could change, you really don't want to change the volume one because volume at these kinds of numbers only makes sense on the daily time frame, but you can change this percent change filter as well from the daily, say down into the 5-minute if you would maybe like to use this scanner and this sort of idea as more of a day trading scanner instead. So we load this in. We now only have 5 results. You'd actually probably also want to go like lower the percent change numbers, like maybe just lower them to greater than 3 or greater than 2 or something like that, because obviously on a 5-minute chart, it's going to be harder for a stock to be up 5% for 3 consecutive candles. But we do have a couple, the first one being CLOV. And as we can see here, CLOV, a very strong intraday move. So you can set all of this up really for any time frame. Once again, we were pseudo sort of acknowledging only the daily time frame while making this thing. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that that is possible with custom ThinkorSwim studies and custom ThinkorSwim columns as well. I want to touch quickly on what I know will be the first piece of feedback from anyone watching this video and seeing this scanner in action. Taking a look here at NVTS, a ticker right off of the top of the current scan list, up 198% away from its 200 length simple moving average. Trey, why the hell would I buy this stock? It's super stretched. I'm not going to chase and FOMO into this thing. Well, guess what? Let's take a look back at when the move began on NVTS just like 6-7 days ago, 6-7 trading days ago. The stock was at the time 114% above the 200 length simple moving average. That still would have put it right up at the top of these scan results. And from there, the stock made another 70+% gain. So yes, these moves are stretched. They are very large movers, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to continue. These kinds of moves are what we're looking for with a scanner and eventually a trading strategy built around this. Once again, what's the premise of this? We want to find moves before they take off. We want to get into these kinds of big movers before everyone else begins talking about them. Let's look out to one of our early examples from the intro of this video, being Palantir. We can go back to when Palantir was only trading at around $60-$70 a share. In this range, it's up 130+% away from its 200 length simple moving average. That would have put it right up towards the top of these scan results. And if you would just look at this chart here, you'd probably be like, oh, Trey, why the hell would I buy that thing? Look at how stretched it is. Beginner traders, beginner investors love using the word stretched as like a reason to not buy a stock. For some reason, I always say this, and maybe it sounds a little dumb, maybe it doesn't make sense, but it does to me, so I'm going to say it again. Beginner traders treat stock charts like they have physics, like there's gravity or something. Like, oh, the stock is so up. What goes up must come down. That's just not true. It's actually like more so the opposite, at least when you're talking about short-term trends, which we are as active traders. We're not long-term investing like multiple years necessarily into these names. We are looking to capitalize on short-term trends. It is more true that what is currently happening has a higher percentage chance to continue happening rather than like, oh, it's up, so it has to come down. So once again, looking at this chart here, when it's up 130% from its 200 length simple moving average, who would want to go buy this thing? Well, hopefully now that you've watched a video like this, maybe you would at least put some interest in researching these kinds of names, because of course since then Palantir has gone from $70 a share up and touching $190 a share. Now, obviously, guys, am I saying that if a stock is up 130% from its 200 length simple moving average, that means that it's going to go up another whatever 150+%? No. Obviously not. There's going to be a lot of times where you're right, and like chasing these stocks at highs is going to result in a loss. But the purpose of continuation trading is that even if you have a low win rate, actually, you know what? Let's do something fun. Let me load in my continuation trading workspace. This is running my continuation trading strategy. Let's run it on the max available time frame so you can see the max available data. This is also my custom backtest label study. All of this available over on daytradingstrategies.net. Wink, wink. Anyway, look at my continuation trading strategy. only has a 38% win rate. And I'm doing the same thing I'm describing in today's video. I'm looking for strong stocks. Actually, this is the strategy I built based around this scanner. This is my runner's large cap swing trading strategy. So if the stock is above 5 on the percent change for 3 bars in a row, that is where the strategy enters. So I'm entering on strength and then looking to hold that strength. Low win rate, but with continuation trading strategies like this, with the example we were just looking at with Palantir, the idea is that when you win, the wins are much larger than the losses. That is what we are targeting here with this sort of continuation setup. As you can see with this strategy running on SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, it's profitable on a 38% win rate because the average win is just shy of $2,600, while the average loss is just shy of $800. That risk to reward is what we are targeting here. Remember, if you're interested in any of the codes you've seen in today's video, they are all available alongside over 150 other custom coded scanners, studies, strategies, etc. on my website, DayTradingStrategies.net. You can access all 150 plus codes immediately upon sign up for either $45 a month, or you can sign up for the annual plan. Now, I do have my service set up as a subscription model because I add at least one new, it's usually 3 or 4 new codes every single week. So you'll get access to everything immediately upon sign up, but obviously the longer you remain signed up, the more you will get access to everything new I add. So the monthly obviously is an option, or the annual plan will obviously save you some money over your next 12 months. That's a long time, 12 months of access to every new code I will add to this website. But more importantly, with the annual plan and with the annual plan only comes lifetime access to the DayTradingStrategies.net official Discord server at no additional cost. This Discord server currently consists of over 850 members. That's a lot of people that have signed up for the annual plan. It's a lot of eyes on the market. People are always in here talking about what stocks are moving right now. They're also all users signed up and using the same exact codes that you will be using. So there's even a channel in here for talking about coding questions, talking about which codes you find to be working best for you, etc., etc. So if you'd like to join a community of like-minded, now codified system traders, this is the place to be. And once again, you get lifetime access to it at no additional cost when you sign up for the annual plan on DayTradingStrategies.net. So head on over to DayTradingStrategies.net. Listen, at least go take advantage of the free codes, right? I mean, why not? That would be ignorant of you just to avoid the potential added value that could come from even the completely free codes. There's no credit card, there's no email, nothing required to access these codes. Maybe read the reviews while you're over there, help decide for yourself if this is something that could help accelerate your personal trading journey. Sign up today and become a better trader immediately.